Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. Right here in Hythe, Kent, southeast England, UK. Just on the edge of the English Channel. You can see it from my window. A haven, small village, fairly peaceful. Fantastic air, healthy, lucky me. Now today you have to be a little patient with me because I've been speaking constantly on the telephone since 2:40 this afternoon without stop. I talked to Antoine, Bhakta Antoine, aspiring disciple from London. Shyam Kishore, he's the Sankirtan leader in London. Then I talked with Pranahari from Houston. Then I talked with Bhagavatashraya from Australia. Then I ate a little something, and then talked to Vaisheshika Prabhu, my best friend, from California. Now I'm lucky I have any voice left at all, but whatever is left over is yours. Hare Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, in due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityänanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityänanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. So, we've reached the Ädi-lilä, chapter 5, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is taking us through the glories of Lord Nityänanda Balaram. You know Nityänanda is Lord Balaram, Baladev, in Goloka Vrindavan, the first expansion of Krishna for assisting Krishna in his pastimes. He's the first person, although he's the same person, at the same time he's the first person who thinks of himself as a servant of Krishna. He's Krishna, thinking of himself as a servant of Krishna in his unique personality of Lord Balaram. And then from Balaram, the quadruple expansions expand into Dwarka. Vasudev, Balaram, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Then from there, from Mahasankarshan, there is a second Mahasankarshan in the Vaikuntha planets who expands himself into the other three members of the Chaturvyuha. And from there, Mahavishnu is expanded from Mahasankarshan. And then the Purusha avatars. So now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is taking us through the different functions of the Purusha avatars. Mahavishnu, Garbho Takashai Vishnu, and Chiro Takashai Vishnu. So now, we're going to start on text 117 of Ädi-lilä, chapter 5. And we're right in the middle of it. So here we go. Ready or not, here we come. That same Lord Vishnu, in the form of Lord Shesha, holds the planets upon his heads, although he does not know where they are, for he cannot feel their existence upon his heads. Text 118. His thousands of extended hoods are adorned with dazzling jewels, surpassing the sun. So Shesha is also an expansion of Vishnu. The universe, which measures 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. Purport. The Lord of Shvetadweep expands himself as Sheshanaga. That means Chirodakashai Vishnu expands himself as Sheshanaga, who sustains all the planets upon his innumerable hoods. These huge global spheres are compared to grains of mustard resting on the spiritual hoods of Sheshanaga. The scientist's law of gravity is a partial explanation of Lord Sankarshan's energy. The name Sankarshan has an etymological relationship to the idea of gravity. There is a reference to Sheshanaga in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5:17-21, wherein it is said, Yam ahur asya stiti janma sang yamam, tribir vihinam yamanantam rishayaha, naveda siddhartam eva kvachit stitang, bhumandalam murta sahasradhamasu. O my Lord, the hymns of the Vedas proclaim that you are the effective cause for the creation, maintenance, and destruction. But in fact, you are transcendental to all limitations and are therefore known as unlimited. On your thousands of hoods rest the innumerable global spheres, like grains of mustard, so insignificant that you have no perception of their weight. The Bhagavatam further says, 5:23, 2, Yasyedam chiti mandalam bhagavato nantamurte sahasrashirasya ekasmin eva shirshani driyamanam siddhartha eva lakshate. Lord Anantadev has thousands of hoods. Each sustains a global sphere that appears like a grain of mustard. Text 120. That Anantashesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Vishnu. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha has described Sheshanaga as follows. Sri Anantadev has thousands of faces and is fully independent. Always ready to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he waits upon him constantly. Sankarshan is the first expansion of Vasudev, and because Sankarshan appears by his own will, he is called Surat, fully independent. He is therefore infinite and transcendental to all limits of time and space. He himself appears as the thousand-headed Shesha. In the Skanda Purana, in the Ayodhya Mahatmya chapter, the demigod Indra requested Lord Shesha, who was standing before him as Lakshman, please go to your eternal abode, Vishnu Loka, where your expansion Shesha, with his serpentine hoods, is also present. After thus dispatching Lakshman to the regions of Patala. Lord Indra returned to his abode. This quotation indicates that the Sankarshan of the quadruple form descends with Lord Rama as Lakshman. When Lord Rama disappears, Shesha again separates himself from the personality of Lakshman. Shesha then returns to his own abode in the Patala regions, and Lakshman returns to his abode in Vaikuntha. The Laghu Bhagavatamrita gives the following description. The Sankarshan of the second group of quadruples forms appears as Rama, taking with him Shesha, who bears the global spheres. There are two features of Shesha. One is the bearer of the globes, and the other is the bedstead servitor. The Shesha who bears the globes is a potent incarnation of Sankarshan, and therefore he is sometimes also called Sankarshan. The bedstead feature of Shesha always presents himself as an eternal servitor of the Lord. So there's a clarification here that there's two forms of Shesha. One of them holds the global spheres, and the other is the eternal servitor of Krishna as his bedstead. Now it may be the same form does the same things, but these are two features of the same form. Okay, text 121. With his thousands of mouths, he sings the glories of Lord Krishna. But although he always sings in that way, he does not find an end to the qualities of the Lord. Text 122. The four Kumaras hear Srimad Bhagavatam from his lips, and they in turn repeat it in the transcendental bliss of love of Godhead. Text 123. He serves Lord Krishna, assuming all the following forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. Text 124. He is thus called Lord Shesha, for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. Text 125. That person of whom Lord Ananta is a kala, or a part of a plenary part, is Lord Nityänanda Prabhu. Who therefore can know the pastimes of Lord Nityänanda? 126. From these conclusions, we can know the limit of the truth of Lord Nityänanda. But what glory is there in calling him Ananta? 127. But I accept it as the truth, because it has been said by devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. Here's a very important verse. Because I accept it as truth, because it has been said by devotees. This is how you receive transcendental knowledge. If you can accept that something you've heard from the devotees is true, then you can get the truth. There's no other way to actually get the truth except through submissive oral reception. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. Text 128. They know that there is no difference between the incarnation and the source of all incarnations. Previously, Lord Krishna was regarded in the light of different principles by different people. 129. Some said that Krishna was directly Lord Narayana, and some called him Lord Vamanadev, incarnate. 130. Some called Lord Krishna an incarnation of Lord Kshirodakashayi. All these names are true. Nothing is impossible. 131. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, appears, he is the shelter of all plenary parts. Thus, at that time, all his plenary portions join in him. Text 132. Excuse me for a moment. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. Shall we hear that again? This is a pretty far out verse. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. Purport. In this connection, we may mention an incident that took place between two of our sannyasis while we were preaching the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in Hyderabad. One of them stated that Hare Rama refers to Sri Balaräma, and the other protested that Hare Rama means Lord Rama. Ultimately, the controversy came to me, and I gave the decision that if someone says that the Rama in Hare Rama is Lord Ramachandra, and someone else says that the Rama in Hare Rama is Sri Balaram, both are correct, because there is no difference between Sri Balarama and Lord Rama. Here in Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, we find that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has stated the same conclusion. Ye rupe jani se taha kahi sakala sambhavi Krishna kichu mitya nahi. If someone calls Lord Ramachandra by the vibration Hare Rama, understanding it to mean, O Lord Ramachandra, he is quite right. Similarly, if one says that Hare Rama means, O Sri Balarama, he is also right. Those who are aware of the Vishnu Tattva do not fight over all these details. Let that sink in for a second. In the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has explained Krishna's being both Kshirodakashayi, Vishnu, and Narayana in the spiritual sky, and expanding in the quadruple forms known as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He has refuted the idea that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayana. Some devotees think that Narayana is the original personality of Godhead and that Krishna is an incarnation. Even Shankaracharya, in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, has accepted Narayana as the transcendental personality of Godhead who appeared as Krishna, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Therefore, this matter may be difficult to understand. But the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, headed by Rupa Goswami, has established the principle of the Bhagavad Gita that everything emanates from Krishna, who says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Bhagavad Gita 10.8, I am the original source of everything. Everything includes Narayana. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita, has established that Krishna, not Narayana, is the original personality of Godhead. In this connection, he has quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3:215 that states, Swashantarupesh itarai sarupayar abhyardyamaneshu anukampitatma paravaresho madhangsha yukto yajo pijato bhagavan yatagnihi. When pure devotees of the Lord, like Vasudeva, are greatly disturbed by dangerous demons like Kamsa, Lord Krishna joins with all his pastime incarnations, such as the Lord of Vaikuntha, and, although unborn, becomes manifest, just as fire becomes manifest by the friction of arani wood. Arani wood is used to ignite a sacrificial fire without matches or any other flame. Just as fire appears from arani wood, the Supreme Lord appears when there is friction between devotees and non-devotees. When Krishna appears, he appears in full, including within himself all the expansions, such as Narayana, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. Krishna is always integrated with his other incarnations, like Nrsingadev, Varaha, Vamana, Naranarayana, Hayagriva, and Ajita. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna sometimes exhibits the functions of such incarnations. In the Brahmanda Purana it is said, the same personality of Godhead who is known in Vaikuntha as the four-handed Narayana, the friend of all living entities, and in the milk ocean as the Lord of Shweta Dweep, and who is the best of all Purushas, appeared as the son of Nanda. In a fire, there may be many sparks of different dimensions. Some of them are very big, and some are small. The small sparks are compared to the living entities, and the large sparks are compared to the Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. All the incarnations emanate from Krishna, and after the end of their pastimes, they again merge with Krishna. Therefore, in the various Puranas, Krishna is described sometimes as Narayana, sometimes as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, sometimes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and sometimes as Vaikuntanath, the Lord of Vaikuntha. Because Krishna is always full, Mula Sankarshan is in Krishna, and since all incarnations are manifested from Mula Sankarshan, it should be understood that Mula Sankarshan can manifest different incarnations by his supreme will, even in the presence of Krishna. Great sages have therefore glorified the Lord by different names. Thus, when the original person, the source of all incarnations, is sometimes described as an incarnation, there is no discrepancy. This is elevated consciousness. This is lateral thinking, not linear thinking. In the West, we're educated in linear thinking. It's either this or it's that. It's black or it's white. It's right or wrong. It's this or it's the duality. But in understanding Krishna consciousness, Krishna in particular, one has to have lateral thinking. So you can accommodate ideas that appear to be contradictory to be both true at the same time. Everything is reconciled in Krishna. Text 133. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. Shall I repeat that? Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. And we'll hear about that later on in Caitanya-caritämrta. How he appeared as Lord Nrsingadev, how he appeared as Varaha, how he appeared as Ramachandra, so many things. It's going to be the same pastimes. 134. Thus, Lord Nityänanda has unlimited incarnations. In transcendental emotion, he calls himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. 135. Sometimes he serves Lord Chaitanya as his guru, sometimes as his friend, and sometimes as his servant, just as Lord Balaram played with Lord Krishna in these three different moods in Braja. Text 136. Playing like a bull, Lord Balaram fights with Krishna head to head, and sometimes Lord Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balaram. 137. He considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus he regards himself as a fragment of Krishna's plenary portion. 138. Acting just like ordinary boys, they played like roaring bulls as they fought each other, and they imitated the calls of various animals. Purport. This and the following quotation are from the Bhagavatam 10:11-40 and 10:15-14. Sometimes when Lord Krishna's elder brother, Lord Balaram, felt tired after playing and lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna himself served him by massaging his feet. 140. Who is this mystic power? And where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me? Purport. The playful pastimes of the Lord caused suspicion in the mind of Lord Brahma, and therefore Lord Brahma, to test Krishna's lordship, stole all the Lord's calves and cowherd boys with his own mystic power. Sri Krishna responded, however, by replacing all the calves and boys in the field. Lord Balaram's thoughts of astonishment at such wonderful retaliation are recorded in this verse, Bhagavatam 10:13-37. Text 141. Yasyangri pankaja rajo kilalokapalaya maul yatmanaya dritamupashita tirtam brahma bhavo ham api yasya kalat kalaya shrish chodvahema chidam asya nripassasam qua. What is the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. That dust makes the holy places sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi and myself, who are all portions of his plenary portion, eternally carry that dust on our heads. Purport. When the Kauravas, to flatter Baladev so that he would become their ally, spoke ill of Sri Krishna, Lord Baladev became angry and spoke this verse, Bhagavatam 10:68-37. 142. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. 143. Thus, Lord Chaitanya is also the only controller. All others are his associates or servants. Guru Varga, Nityânanda, Advaita Acharya, Srivasadi Arayata, Lago Sama Arya, Sabi Parishad, Sabi Lilara Sahaya, Sabha Laya Nija Karya, Sadhi Govardha Roy. His elders, such as Lord Nityânanda, Advaita Acharya, and Srivas Thakur, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equals, or superiors, or all his associates who help him in his pastimes, Lord Gauranga fulfills his aims with their help. So when we read later on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, you should understand that all these personalities who appear to be his juniors, his seniors, his equals, they are all there to help him in his pastimes, and he is the source of them all. They are all his servants. But he acts as if he needs them, and that is real love. Text 146. Shri Advaita Acharya and Srila Nityananda Prabhu, who are plenary parts of the Lord, are his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. 147. Lord Advaita Acharya is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptor, Advaita Acharya is a servant of the Lord. Purport. Lord Chaitanya always offered respects to Advaita Prabhu as he would to his father, because Advaita was even older than his father. Yet Advaita Prabhu always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Advaita Prabhu and Ishwara Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri, who was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Let's repeat that again. Sri Advaita Prabhu and Ishwara Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri, who was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus Advaita Prabhu, as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual uncle, was always to be respected, because one should respect one's spiritual master's godbrothers as one respects one's spiritual master. Please, all of you, remember that. Because of all these considerations, Sri Advaita Prabhu was superior to Lord Chaitanya, yet Advaita Prabhu considered himself Lord Chaitanya's subordinate. 148. I cannot describe the truth of Advaita Acharya. He has delivered the entire world by making Lord Krishna descend. 149. Lord Nityananda Sarup formerly appeared as Lakshman and served Lord Ramachandra as his younger brother. Purport. Among the sannyasis of the Shankara Sampradaya, there are different names for brahmacharis. Each sannyasi has some assistants, known as brahmacharis, who are called by a certain name according to the name of the sannyasi. Among such brahmacharis, there are 4 names: Sarup, Ananda, Prakash, and Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu maintained himself as a brahmachari. He never took sannyas. As a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda, Sarup, and therefore the sannyasi under whom he was living must have been named either Tirtha or Ashrama, because the name for the assistant brahmacharya of a sannyasi with either of those names is Sarup. Text 150. The activities of Lord Rama were full of suffering, but Lakshman, of his own accord, tolerated that suffering. 151. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Rama from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. 152. When Lord Krishna appeared, he, Balaräma, became Krishna's elder brother to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. Text 153. Sri Rama and Sri Lakshman, who were plenary portions of Lord Krishna, and Lord Balaram, respectively, enter into them at the time of Krishna's and Balaram's appearance. Purport. With reference to the Vishnu Dharmottara, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains that Rama is an incarnation of Vasudeva, Lakshman is an incarnation of Sankarshan, Bharat is an incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is an incarnation of Aniruddha. The Padma Purana describes that Ramachandra is Narayana, and that Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna are respectively Shesha, Chakra, and Shankha, the conch shell in the hand of Narayana. In the Rama Gita of the Skanda Purana, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna have been described as the triple attendants of Lord Rama. Text 154. And I'm going to stop there. My voice is going, literally. I've been speaking now for 6 hours straight, way over my quota. We're in a stopping place because now we're going to start again with Krishna and Balaram, how they present themselves, and then again it will go into the expansions and all of their relationships. So, thank you very much for tolerating my voice today. Like I said before, I've been talking all day, and anyway, Hare Krishna. Anyone have any reflections or points they want to discuss or questions? Please be my guest. Hare Krishna. Cheers. As they say here in the UK. Cheers. That was about 40 minutes of reading. Almost exactly. Okay, I must have intimidated you by talking about how my voice is today. I really want to hear from you and discuss also if necessary. So please don't be shy. Friday, June 5th, 2020. Can you believe it? We've been here since March 17th. Incredible. Incredible. As you get older, by the law of nature that Krishna has created, time seems to move faster. It goes the same. It's not slower or faster, but it seems to go faster as you get older, because you have done a lot and you have less to do. So it seems like sense of urgency comes, time changes. And it's all to help us remove ourselves from the material world, enter into the spiritual realm. Okay, you're all very silent out there. Your silence is deafening. I don't know if anybody's even watching. Really? Okay. Abaya is holding the key to the thing. Key to the vault.
Devotees have sent their obeisances and said, Hare Krishna.
Who?
From Mayhem Morani.
Mayhem Marani.
Brian Phillips.
Brian Phillips.
Radha Madana Mohan.
And Radha Madana Mohan.
Rati Manjari.
Rati.
Santa Rupa Devi Dasi.
Santa Rupa Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Saloni Sati Sundari Robi Chan. And Ellis Bainham. Says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for yet another nectar reading. And there's something from Rati Manjari.
Go ahead, Rati.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Tonight I do not have a question, but I like to hear that Ananta Shesh is Swarat, fully independent, that he appears by his own sweet will, and yet he considers himself a servant of Lord Vishnu, and he is always waiting upon the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really wonderful about how all of these different forms of Krishna, which devotees think about according to their mentality and mood toward Krishna and his expansions, they tend to think that the Lord is that expansion. And so sometimes they even argue with one another. But actually they're all the same person. And therefore, what all of them are saying is true. So you have to be spiritually situated, transcendentally situated, to be able to actually understand that and accept it without any reservation, without any hesitation. And at the same time, understand that Krishna is the source of them all. That was like the major thread of that last part of the reading. Krishna is all of them, but at the same time, he maintains himself in different forms and different moods, so that it looks like there's different people. It's inconceivable. Chinta Beda Beda Tattva. The same and yet not, and yet different.
Rati goes on to say, it's such a contrast with the modern day idea of being independent, when to serve is the last thing one seems to want to do.
This is a very good point, Rati, because real independence means to be fully dependent on Krishna. Because until you become fully dependent on Krishna, then you are controlled by the material nature, and you have practically no independence, but you think you are completely independent. But when you surrender to Krishna and become fully dependent, then you become independent of the modes of nature, and you get facilities similar to Krishna's. Knowledge. Not unlimited knowledge like Krishna, but full knowledge, full happiness, eternal life, equal in quality with Krishna's. Very wonderful, thank you.
Something from Doyle Nitai, Prabhu.
Haribol Doyle Nitai.
He says, Hare Krishna, Srila Guru Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. I was wondering why Sri Nityânanda is referred to as a brahmachari.
Because he is, even though externally he appears to get married to Janava, and I think there's two of them, Janava and I can't remember his second wife, but Vasudhi and Janava. He thinks of himself as a small boy in Vrindavan. He thinks of himself as a little boy in Vrindavan. That's his mood. So therefore he's called a brahmachari. Therefore, sometimes when Lord Nityänanda would go out preaching, he would just come to the door with Haridas Thakur or some householder, and they would open the door and they would fall onto the ground and roll around and look up and beg people to chant Hare Krishna, because he was like a child.
Rati Manjari has something. She says, I found it fascinating what you just said about what the transcendental purpose is behind this experience of time going faster and faster, namely to make us become detached from this material world.
Yes, and to give you a sense of urgency. Because you get older, when you realize I don't have so much time left, and the sense of urgency to get to the perfection becomes greater automatically. Plus your sexual urges go down, and so you're less attached to all the things that are attached to that kind of attraction and effect on your body and mind. Great mercy, old age. And also people will listen to you more. Or even if they won't, they'll tolerate you.
Nitai Prabhu says, thank you, Srila Guru Maharaj.
Thank you for your wonderful questions. I think now that I should give my voice a rest with all of your permission. It's starting to become actually strained, and I want to be careful about that. I have to kind of remember that, because once I get back into doing the audiobook recording, I have to keep my voice in the morning perfect. Otherwise I can't do these recordings. I'll give you a sample. Shall I? Just before we go, I'll play you a sample of something I received recently, because you know Rasika Shiromani is in Houston and he's editing the sound, and I'm going to play to you something from the first volume of the Ädi-lilä of this book we're reading now. Are you all ready? Okay, ready or not, here we come. Ädi-lilä, Chapter 1, Srila Rupa Goswami's second meeting with the Lord. A summary of the first chapter is given by Srila Pravahabhasha as follows. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan, all his devotees from other parts of India, upon receiving the auspicious news, came to Purushottam Kshetra, or Jagannath Puri. Shivananda Sain took a dog with him, and even paid fees for it to cross the river. One night, however, the dog could not get any food, and therefore went directly to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. The next day, when Shivananda and his party reached Jagannath Puri, Shivananda saw the dog eating some coconut pulp offered to it by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After this incident, the dog was liberated and went back home, back to Godhead. Meanwhile, Srila Rupa Goswami reached Bengal after returning from Vrindavan. Although he could not follow the Bengali devotees, after some time he also came to Jagannath Puri, where he stayed with Haridas Thakur. Srila Rupa Goswami composed an important verse beginning with the words Priyak So Yum, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished it very much. One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and others went to the place of Haridas Thakur and heard some of the verses Rupa Goswami had composed for his books Lalita Madhava and Vidagdha Madhava. After examining the manuscripts of these books, Ramananda Roy approved and appreciated them very much. After the period of Chaturmasya, all the devotees who had come from Bengal returned to their homes. Srila Rupa Goswami, however, remained at Jagannath Puri for some time. Text 1. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a lame man can cross over a mountain and a dumb man recite Vedic literature. Text 2. My path is very difficult. I am blind, and my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. Text 3 and 4. I pray to the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunath, so that all the impediments to my writing this literature will be annihilated and my real desire will be fulfilled. Purport. If one wants to benefit the entire world, he will certainly find persons like hogs and pigs who will put forward many impediments. That is natural. But if a devotee seeks shelter at the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis, the merciful Goswamis will certainly give the Lord's servitor all protection. It is not astonishing that impediments are placed before those who are spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Nevertheless, if we stick to the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis and pray for their mercy, all impediments will be annihilated, and the transcendental devotional desire to serve the Supreme Lord will be fulfilled. That's your sample for tonight, folks. Hare Krishna. Preview of coming attractions. Hare Krishna. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same place, same station. Right here in Hive. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Hari Bol.